The Indianapolis Colts have made a trade as they have swapped linebacker Zaire Franklin for defensive tackle Colby Wooden of the Green Bay Packers. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Colts, your daily Indianapolis Colts podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Colts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network around. Hello, everyone. My name is Zach Hicks, your resident film nerd of HorseshoeHuddle.com. I'm joined, as always, by Jake Arthur of Round Table Sports. Today, we are joining you on a Saturday because we have some breaking news from the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts have traded linebacker Zaire Franklin for defensive tackle Colby Wooden of the Green Bay Packers. It appears to just be a straight-up player-for-player swap between the two teams, so a very, very rare thing that we're seeing here in the NFL. But Jake, let's talk about this immediate fallout of Zaire Franklin being on the move. The Colts do save a good chunk of cash with this. I think by moving Franklin, you have it here in the notes, Jake, and you can probably clarify better for me. $7 million associated with Zaire Franklin. Wooden only 1 year left at $1.3 million. So the Colts inch closer and closer to being cap compliant before Tuesday's deadline.
Yes, so I just checked over the cap before we hopped on here, and it looks like they were Johnny on the spot, already had everything ready. So the Colts, they're ridding about $7 million of Zaire Franklin's contract. So it's pretty lopsided. You could see kind of what the Colts were going for here. Wooden is a defensive tackle with starting experience. Not very statistically productive from a pass rush standpoint, but he's only got 1.3 million of a cap hit, 1 year left on his deal. Zaire 7. So this now brings the Colts up to they're under the cap now. Finally, they're $154,000 under the cap. So, like if they had to submit their salary cap report right now, they could technically do it. But this is just one of what I assume is going to be at least a handful of moves to get under the cap by Wednesday afternoon. So Zaire, what was it like? It's not even been a week since it's been announced that he's been on the trading block. And so they're moving him to Green Bay, which is dealing with, Quay Walker is a free agent, so they might lose him. They're bringing in a veteran. The Colts are bringing in some needed depth. I'm going to assume, without knowing too much about Wooden yet, that this is a 3-tech backup for DeForest Buckner. He's like 274 pounds, I think. So he's 6'4", 274. So he's not a huge guy. But yeah, it's I can see what the Colts are going for here. It gets them cap compliant, and it gets some fresh new blood on the defensive line that they earned money in doing so. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, younger and faster in the front seven, and this is the first step towards getting there. Look, Franklin had been a fine player for a couple years, and we'll talk more about what this means with Franklin being on the move. But with Colby Wooden, you get a 25-year-old who still has another year left on his rookie contract, and he's been, again, he started 16 games last year, right? So this wasn't just a throwaway, like, bottom of the roster guy from the Green Bay Packers. He played a lot of snaps last year. Two up and down results. Like, he wasn't perfect by any means, but former 4th round pick, tested pretty well for his size. I think he's actually played some more like 1-tech as well too with the Packers. Like, it wasn't just 3-tech type stuff, and did show some good ability as a run defender, probably a little bit better of a run defender than Adetomiwa, where Adetomiwa was a better pass rusher. So just adding more guys into that rotation to have a more diverse attack up front rather than it just being, just Tomiwa and Grover Stewart if DeForest Buckner is not good to go. I do wonder this, and maybe this is for like a future show, Jake. I wonder if a trade like this, though, does signify, again, some lingering concerns with DeForest Buckner going into next season.
Sure.
Major surgery on his neck at his age, something you don't want to see, obviously. So I wonder if just continually beefing up that defensive line with, like, again, this isn't a nose tackle. Right? You didn't bring in a 340-pound nose tackle to back up Grover Stewart. This is like another Adetomiwa type player. This is another like pass rusher guy who can play a little bit on base downs, but more so you want, he's a little bit smaller for what you're looking for typically. So I wonder if this does also say, like, hey, DeForest Buckner, we're not too sure what the future looks like with him.
Yeah, I think there's two big things you can take away here. They finally are going to, like, I do think they're trying to be cognizant of DeForest Buckner and be, real about what he's going to be facing if he does play moving forward, because he needs to be on a rotation. That, like, he probably needs to be playing 25, 30 snaps a game at this point. So you get another capable guy who could probably move inside and out, because at 274, knowing Lou Anarumo, that kind of sounds like a big end as well. Like, I'm going to guess this guy moves around a little bit, or at least will with Lou. So I see that. I see more rotation for DeForest Buckner. But it's official. The linebacker remake is officially on. Zaire Franklin was the face of that linebacker group, obviously. I've had my doubts on whether Jermaine Pratt's coming back. I kind of doubt it. He's getting up there. I think he's like 29. Speed isn't really his thing. So I think the Colts are officially remaking this linebacker group. They're trying to bolster the defensive line as well. So we are seeing what Chris Ballard is talking about with kind of remaking that front seven. So I do still think the draft is probably where they'll wind up looking to update the linebacker room. They need a Mike, though. That's the thing now. That's what people need to realize now. They need to find someone who specifically can be a green dot. It's, that a will. There's this draft is rich in will linebackers, but there's only a handful of like key guys who I think who could call a defense. So that'll be really important going forward into the draft.
Jacob Rodriguez, come on down, baby.
Yes,
I know you're a little bit small.
Jake Golday as well, but they might have to trade up to get him.
Yeah, with all those picks they have. But yeah, with Rodriguez, at least, I know he's a little small, but he was just the green dot on one of the best defenses in college football. So just throwing in a little bit of draft there. But coming up, guys, we're going to continue this conversation about this trade, Zaire Franklin for Colby Wooden, and more so approach it from the Zaire Franklin side of it all. The Colts are losing a team captain, losing a player who was one of Chris Ballard's best success stories, going from 7th round pick to perennial starter and all pro even one year in the NFL. What this means for the Colts going forward and what this kind of means for, I guess, the leadership of this team as well.
We live in a world where we can stream anything. We can order food in minutes, and we can carry supercomputers in our pockets. But somehow buying tickets to a live game still feels complicated. You got hidden fees, jumping prices, endless steps. There's got to be a better way. But that's why we use the Gametime app here at Locked On. It gives fans the advantage, and it makes getting tickets simple, whether it's NFL games, concerts, comedy, whatever you're into. I recently jumped on the app just to check out a concert that's going to be coming up locally here. And it took me just a couple minutes. You can see the panoramic views from your seats before you even buy it. The price that you're going to pay is included, all the fees. There's no surprises at checkout. Plus, I'm always big into the zone deals. That's where you pick the section. Gametime picks the seat for extra savings. It's just 2 taps and you have great seats locked in. Fast, easy, done. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Gametime today. And it is tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with just a bunch of papers in your arms, emailing back and forth and wondering if they actually get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your document gets uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar that you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled correctly. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are joining you for a little emergency pod today. The Colts have traded stud linebacker Zaire Franklin to the Green Bay Packers for defensive tackle Colby Wooden. Zaire Franklin is the one that's got a little more luster in this trade, but the salary is lopsided. The Colts are getting rid of about $7 million with Zaire Franklin, and Wooden, entering the final year of his contract, is like is $1 million. The Colts are now $150,000 under the salary cap. So they did it, everyone. The offseason has been achieved.
They can just barely afford one of us now, Jake.
Exactly. I'll go for the vet minimum. That's fine. So let's go into Wooden just a little bit more, and then we'll go more broad strokes of what this means. So again, this guy's a former 4th-round pick back in 23 with the Packers. He's 6'4", 273 pounds, 25 years old. Like Zach mentioned, he had pretty good draft testing back in 23. 33 3/4-inch arms. He ran a 4.7 940, 9 7 inch broad jump. So he's got some explosion to him. He has started 17 of 47 games. 17, all of them came though in the last 2 years. Started 16 of them last year for Green Bay. Last year he put up 50 tackles, which is pretty good for a defensive tackle, and had a pass breakup and 28 stops according to PFF. One thing I'm a little concerned about, though, is no sacks. I think he's got like a half of a career sack in 47 games. So we're going to have to go hit the film on that and see what's up with that. But regardless, if he's a good run defender, like there's some, if he started 16 games, there's got to be something he excels at. So I'm excited to learn more about Wooden.
Yeah, 270-pound nose tackle, baby. The complete antithesis of everything I've ever wanted. But again, if you can defend the run in the NFL, especially at his size, when the Colts go to their 5-man defensive fronts, their grizzly fronts, he can probably boost out wide to their 4-tech, 3-tech on those, and just be a good complement to Grover Stewart. So I do have to watch a little bit more film on him. I know I liked him a little bit as a prospect a couple years ago, but got to see how his career has progressed, I guess, with the Green Bay Packers. I did like that he started 16 games last year. So again, this isn't just a throw-in of a bottom of the roster, like traitsy guy. This is a guy who has played in the NFL, and you're getting him at a very cheap contract. This is why it's so rare to see player-for-player deals in the NFL, because rookie contract guys are making so much less than anybody after the rookie contract. So that disparity in what you're getting in a trade is pretty nice for the receiving team of a rookie contract. So we'll see what Wooden's able to bring this next season. But I did kind of want to pivot a little bit before we leave this show, Jake, and probably to set up future shows for us when it comes to Zaire Franklin. This is the first step, it feels like, for the Colts, not only in getting younger and faster on defense, but also shaking up that leadership group that has been a part of multiple late season collapses, whether it was 2023, this past season, 2021. They've had so many late season collapses with the same guys wearing C's on their jersey. And I'm not going to sit here and blame it all on Zaire Franklin. Like, that would not be fair to him whatsoever. But again, you have to shake up something at the core of this roster when the same thing keeps happening to your team. So just from that perspective, like, I have nothing negative to say about Zaire Franklin as a person, or, I mean, not even that much as a player. Like, he had a great career for a 7th-round pick with the Colts. But it was time to get that necessary shakeup and just say, hey, this is not good enough. So, he could be the first of a few captains that we don't see return. Because the big question, I guess Michael Pittman Jr. wasn't a captain last year, or was he?
He has been one time. I don't think he was this last year.
Yeah, I don't think he was last year. But again, like that similar type of group of players, that's another player that's coming up here. So I think this is the first in maybe a couple steps to change some of the voices that are in that locker room.
Yeah, I mean, when one guy like that exits, it kind of forces somebody else to step up and take that role. Like Quentin Nelson has always been a leader on this team, but when Ryan Kelly left last offseason, Quentin really felt a need to step up and like take a leadership role and set accountability and not let anyone skate by. And I mean, you could say that had mixed results, but not from Quentin. Like, we all noticed clearly starting in the offseason and in the summer how much of a leadership role he seemed to be taking on. So with Zaire Franklin going, it's going to force, the hierarchy of the leadership to shift in the locker room on defense, because Zaire was also their like rah-rah guy before games. He was the one trying to get everybody juiced and hyped and ready to go for a game. So it's going to be interesting. His presence is going to be missed. Like, they'll be able to tell he's not there anymore for sure. Very vocal leader. But a polarizing guy as well. Like, he's not the kind of guy you're going to agree with everything that he does. I do think he gives you, in most scenarios, he gives you good football. He's coming off the worst season of his career, though. Statistically, everything was as bad as it's been throughout his career as a starter. But like I think in the right system, he's going to be fine. I don't know what Green Bay is really going to run now without Jeff Hafley, so I can't tell you right now if he's a scheme fit. But like if he would have gone to like the Gus Bradley tree or gone to like even the Eberflus tree where he could run and chase a little bit more, I think he would excel. Again, I don't know what lies ahead for him in Green Bay, but I mean, Green Bay is getting a productive player. I don't think there's any side that necessarily won this. I think the Colts accomplished what they set out to, which is build more D-line depth and rid themselves of some salary cap. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting moving forward because this was one of the most prominent figures in the locker room.
Yeah, no, for sure. And one thing I'll close out this episode by saying, which again, I know a lot of fans don't feel this same sentiment towards Franklin, but I will always say from my personal dealings with him, from talking with him on and off, online or in person, very, very respectful guy. I could see he's a person that people gravitate towards. And I've always appreciated that about him. Say what you want about his play on the field, ups and downs for sure, some good moments, some bad moments. And I do think it was time for the Colts to move on from the asset that was Zaire Franklin. You could even say from the personality to a degree because the podcasting and all the stuff off the field was just a distraction for a not good football team. But I just do want to say, like, thank you to Zaire Franklin for how he's always treated members of the media, people in general, in person especially. Like, I think he's always been a very respectful and good dude. And I'm excited to see what he can do in Green Bay. I hope he can find some good footing there and play some good football. But I'm also excited to find out what Colby Wooden can do here with the Indianapolis Colts, especially when it comes to a defensive line room that has a lot of question marks aside from Grover Stewart and Laiatu Latu. So that's all we have for today, guys. But don't worry, we'll have plenty more content coming in the future, especially when it pertains to what this defense looks like without Zaire Franklin and with Colby Wooden going forward. So thanks again for tuning in today to this bonus episode of Locked On Colts. We'll be back probably tomorrow. I mean, knowing how this news cycle is going.
You did tell them yesterday on Friday's show that we would probably be back this weekend, and it's less than 24 hours later.
Yeah, we'll probably be back again tomorrow. I don't know. We have a lot going on here. Jake and I are on call at all times this off season. So make sure you subscribe to our show to get all the latest episodes. And if you don't already, make sure you're following at Locked On Colts, at Jake Arthur NFL, and at Zach Hicks 2, all on socials. And if you never miss an episode, then remember the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Colts audio ad-free, plus members-only Discord access, and much more. Head to lockedoncolts.supercast.com to join the club or follow the link in the show notes right now. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys again, probably back here tomorrow afternoon to talk more Colts.